two brothers. Sohn company, one war. In a small German town in 1948, a family was torn apart forever. Not by death, not by disease, by hatred. And that hatred, between two brothers who refused to speak to each other for the rest of their lives, created the two most powerful sportswear brands in human history. Every boot you've ever seen on a football pitch, every jersey, every World Cup ball, is a product of that one family feud. And in 2026, on the biggest stage in sports history, that war is about to reach its most explosive moment yet. Stay with me until the end, because what these two companies have been doing behind the scenes will change how you watch every football match forever. Section 1, Two Brothers, One Betrayal. Let's go back to 1920 Herzogenaurach, Germany, a tiny town, a small shoe factory, two brothers, Adolf and Rudolf Dassler, building a business together from nothing. They called it Geber Fieder Dassler Schuhfabrik. By the 1936 Berlin Olympics, their shoes were on the feet of Jesse Owens, the fastest man in the world. Business was booming. The brothers were unstoppable. Then World War II happened, and something broke between them. Nobody knows the full truth of what was said, but by 1948, the brothers were done. Rudolf walked out. He crossed the river that ran through their town, and started his own company on the other side. He called it Puma. Adolf renamed the original company. Adidas, two factories, two brands, two brothers, separated by a river, and a hatred so deep that their employees refused to marry each other, refused to drink at the same bars, refused to even speak to each other's families. Rudolf and Adolf died without ever making peace, but their war was just getting started. Section 2, Adidas owns football for decades. Adidas dominated world football, completely, totally, ruthlessly. Pelle Fay wore Adidas, Franz Beckenbauer wore Adidas, Zinedine Zidane wore Adidas. FIFA became an Adidas partner in 1970, and since that day, every single World Cup match ball has been made by Adidas. Every referee, every official, every volunteer at every World Cup, all dressed in Adidas. By the 1990s, football and Adidas were the same word. If you played football, you wore Adidas. If you watched football, you saw Adidas. There was no competition, no challenger, no threat. Adidas owned the beautiful game until an American shoe company decided it wanted in. Section 3, Nike crashes the party. Nike was not a football company. Nike made running shoes, track and field, basketball, American sports, football. The world's game was Adidas territory. Nike stayed away. Until 1994. That year, Nike made a decision that changed everything. They signed the entire Brazilian national team, the most glamorous, the most watched, the most loved football team on earth. How much did they pay? $200 million for a football team. Nobody had ever seen that before. Adidas was stunned, but Nike wasn't done. They then signed one single player, Ronaldo, not Cristiano Ronaldo. The original Ronaldo, the Brazilian striker who was about to become the most dangerous footballer alive. Nike put him in their boots, put him in their ads, and watched the world follow. Adidas had owned football for 50 years. Nike had just kicked the door down. The war had officially begun. Section 4, the Ronaldo versus Messi proxy war. Fast forward to the 2000s. A new rivalry was born. Cristiano Ronaldo versus Lionel Messi, the greatest footballers of their generation, maybe of any generation. But here is what nobody tells you. This wasn't just a football rivalry. This was a corporate war disguised as sport. Ronaldo signed with Nike. Messi signed with Adidas. Every match between them, every Champions League final, every Ballon d'Or ceremony, was a billion-dollar brand battle played out in front of 3 billion people. Nike poured hundreds of millions into Ronaldo's image. Adidas poured hundreds of millions into Messi's custom boots. Global ad campaigns, social media armies, combined. These two companies spent over $500 million just on two players, just to win an argument. And every time Ronaldo scored, Nike won. And every time Messi lifted a trophy, Adidas won. The players were the product. The war was the point. Section 5, World Cup 2026. The biggest battle yet now, 2026. The World Cup arrives in North America. And for Nike, this is personal. This is home. Nike controls over 40% of the American sportswear market. This is their turf, their consumers, their moment. But Adidas came prepared. Adidas sponsors 14 teams in this tournament: Argentina, Germany, Spain, Italy, Mexico. Nike sponsors 12, USA, England, France, Brazil, and both companies know what is at stake. $11 billion in FIFA revenue. $5 billion in economic impact for America alone. Billions more in jersey sales, boot deals, sponsorship activations. Whoever wins this World Cup in the marketplace could dominate the global sportswear industry for the next decade. This is not a football tournament for Nike and Adidas. This is a war for the future of their businesses. Section 6. The dirty tactics. Now here is where it gets dark. Because both companies don't just compete. They play dirty. Player poaching is standard. Secret contract clauses are standard. Paying players extra under the table to wear their boots in big matches. That is standard too. Puma recently stole Portugal from Nike, a historic national team. Gone overnight. Nike didn't see it coming, and the corporate espionage? Yes, actual espionage. Both companies have been accused of infiltrating each other's operations, stealing design plans, leaking marketing strategies. There are stories of agents, actual paid agents, attending competitor product launches, photographing unreleased boots, reporting back to headquarters. And then there is the boot manipulation. Players under contract are sometimes photographed wearing competitor boots, painted over disguised, because the player prefers the feel. But the contract says otherwise. This is a war fought on pitches, in boardrooms, in courtrooms, and in back alleys nobody ever talks about publicly. When the 2026 World Cup final is played at MetLife Stadium in New York, billions of people will be watching the football. But the real final was already decided in boardrooms, in marketing meetings, in secret deals. The winner on the pitch gets a trophy. The winner off the pitch gets the world. Two brothers started this war in a small German town over 70 years ago. They died without ever speaking again. But their companies are still fighting. Every match, every boot, every jersey is another battle in a war that will never end. And next time you watch a football match, look at the boots. Because what you are really seeing is a family feud that conquered the world. If this changed how you see the game, like, subscribe, and share behind billions. Every week we pull back the curtain on the wars being fought behind the world's biggest empires. The next one is even darker.